Just got in the mail this ASUS Chromebook 13-inch. It will be replacing my current Samsung 11-inch laptop that I use for travel. I do a lot of traveling, and the ability to have a nice, light, small laptop that I can travel with easily, good battery life is important to me. I did want something a little bit bigger, and I saw this came up on a Black Friday sale, so I bought it. And the 13 inches I hope will fit me a little bit better. Let's take a look what's inside, and then I'll do a full review later on. So the packaging is very easy to get out. That is kind of one of my pet peeves, is packaging that's impossible. Right there is the laptop, kind of comparing the 13-inch to the 11-inch. I'll line that up on the corner there. So that is the difference between 13 and 11. This is 11 and that's the 13 down there. Very nice kind of brush metal look on it. No fan on this model. It's an Intel, but it's supposed to run cool enough not to need it. Right there's the lock on it, one of the two USB ports, and then on the other side here, HDMI, power, SD memory card, the other USB port, and a headphone jack. Very thin. Kind of comparing them, if you've had the Samsung Chromebooks before, it's a tiny bit thicker, but just barely. This is definitely a little bit heavier, but not that much heavier. So let's open this up. First, let's kind of take a look what's on here. So right there's the power cord. Pretty standard power cord. It's got a big kind of block at the end, but that's not unusual. So there it is. And let's just kind of open this up and take a look at it. So there is the actual Chromebook. Hopefully some of these stickers come off easily. I bet they will. Very light, easy. Keys feel good. I'll power this on, test it out over the next few days, and I'll come back and do a full review. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. So I just finished testing out the ASUS 13-inch Chromebook. Very impressed. I've used it solidly for quite a few days. Over the weekend, I used it in front of the TV and for work and personal. Some of the high points, amazing battery life. I unplug it in the morning, use it throughout the day, and I've been plugging it back in at night. That's all that's been needed. The 13-inch screen is a big improvement over the old 11-inch Samsung I'll show you in a minute. The sound is great quality. The downside is it's an HD display with a matted screen, so there's no reflection from lights coming down on it, easy to use outside. It is a little bit duller than the ultra bright screens you may be used from very high-end laptops. But for the price and for what it does, it's perfect. I've used it for Netflix and Amazon. It works great. Picture's clear, comes in a nice HD. No complaints there. So, though, if you have to say something negative, that's the negative point to it. One of the things I'm sure is a question if you're looking at this on Amazon. It's an Intel processor. The issue on Amazon is it's got some weird model number on it that you may not recognize, but it is an Intel one. I was very impressed with the speed of the computer, browsing the web, doing some web-based games, looking at videos, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all that worked great. So no complaint about the speed of the processor. Comparing this one more time to the 11-inch Samsung, this is the size difference. The screen is noticeably bigger on the 13-inch. I think it's well worth it. The 11-inch, you can see, is a little bit smaller, but it's still small enough that it's easy to throw in any backpacks and carry around. One of the big differences between the ASUS and the Samsung, at least on this Samsung model, is the ports are on the back of it. And that's kind of nice to hide the cords, but I kind of like having the one USB on one side, HDMI, USB, headphone jack, SD card on this side. It's just a little easier to get to use and not have to deal with, especially if you're swapping in USB sticks. It only has a 16 gig hard drive. It does have really good built-in Google Drive support, so I've just been using Google Drive. But when it's moving files, back and forth, a little extra space, if you work a lot, the USB memory sticks, the ability to shove it in the side is very nice. Looking at it, very nice appearance. It's kind of a matted black look. I have noticed that it seems to show my fingerprints a little bit. I don't know if it was just I was eating, watching football, maybe extra greasy, but that's the only downside of the look. As you can see, it's a solid black all the ways around. No fan ports, very quiet computer. Heat does not seem to be an issue with this. I was surprised at how cool it felt after using it for several hours on my lap. So let's kind of boot this up and take a look at it again. One of the things I want you to notice is how quickly it will pop online. So let's turn it on. And in a few seconds, you're booted in. There's the Chrome logo. And now it's fully booted. I can log in. Let me do that real quick, so I can show you how it works on the inside. So there it goes. It launches my browser by default. Let me close that out and show you some of the built-in apps. We'll just zoom in here real quick. So as you can see, along the bottom here is you got your standard Google, Gmail, Documents. It is very nice. You can just click on the Google Docs and it will launch Docs right there. There you go. There is offline support for their Google Docs for Excel, or their version of Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and so forth. So I tested it out. It's nice. I was able to get some work done without Wi-Fi, but the real power of this comes with Wi-Fi. All the basic stuff you would expect is in here. Good calendar support. There is Gmail offline. There is a Word version also. Office.live.com works very well in here. I'm not logged in yet on this, but I've used that a lot. Works great if you really want the Microsoft Office. The other basic things you would expect to find in here, you know, the calculator is a nice little add-on. I know I use that a lot for work. Basic games, Solitaire, Mahjong, all that I've downloaded and used. There's a whole game store with Chrome also. Nothing big. If you're a heavy gamer, this is not going to be what you want to use. But if you're like me and you're just working and you want to blow off some free time on a plane, sitting on the couch watching something with a family, you know, there's Solitaire, all the basic small low games, and some more advanced ones. EA's got a good selection of games like the Command & Conquer free online one is a pretty fun low game. Going back into the options of what's all in here, it does have Google Hangouts. I'm launching that right now, and it allows you to use the camera. If you've used Skype before, Google Hangouts is the same kind of feature. It does not support Skype. Wish it did, and unfortunately doesn't. I don't know of any workaround to make that happen. If you do, post in the comments. You got your quick links, Google Maps, all the basic Google services you would expect built right in. Works very well. So if you need a good computer to surf the web, to do basic office tasks of typing emails, making a presentation, editing a document, and you don't want to pay a lot of money, this is exactly what you need. Slick, easy to use, good Google Now integration, so that's a nice feature with it. The downside is it's not exactly a power horse. You know, you're not going to want to use this for gaming. You're not going to want to use, or at least not like Call of Duty or those, you know, heavier graphic games. They won't work here. You're also not going to want to use this if your idea is video editing. It does have very good YouTube support to upload to YouTube. It does have very good photo editor. So if you need a basic photo editor, that's, you know, all those Google services, great integration. If you're like me and Google Drive is a big thing, that's integrated very well also. So overall, I would give this a good 10 out of 10 for what it is. It's not, you know, it's the kind of computer you want to travel with. The very, very skinny size, lightweight, but great battery power. Make it perfect for anybody who's in business and needs to travel. A+. Now I have tested out the HDMI port. I know one of the things I hate is going to a hotel and being stuck with whatever limited channel selection hotels may be better, but you still run into those ones that have 20 or so channels. HDMI from this to the TV looks beautiful. Plug it in to stream Netflix and Hulu and Amazon to your TV works great. So if you're looking at this as a traveling media center too, highly recommend it. Even just on your nightstand, the speaker quality was excellent for a laptop. Music sounded good and TV shows sounded good. So for what it is, I'll give it a good 10 out of 10. If you're looking for a full-blown Windows or Apple experience from this, where you're going to download Photoshop on here and do heavy video editing with Adobe or whatever program you use, or this is probably not for you. If you just need a good computer or even a second computer for the kids, this is great. One of the things I do like about this is, let me sign out real quick. When you first log in, there is a guest feature. So if your children want to use this, you can just select Browse as Guest. It launches the Chrome browser and will limit them to be able to only surf the web. They're not going to be able to edit any of your files. You go in here, it just has Chrome. That's basically all that's there. They're not going to be able to get into your Google Doc files, your work, and mess anything up. That's kind of a nice benefit. I do have kids, and I like the ability to just say, here you go, take this laptop, launch it in guest mode, and not worry about it. Super easy. So 10 out of 10. Link to the full review in the comments, and to find it on the Amazon store in the bottom. If you have any questions, let me know.